Alert status! There are reports of a siege in downtown Mariner Bay. The monsters seem to be using magical powers to keep the city police away. We suspect it's the work of Queen Bansheera. Your mission, Rangers, neutralize this evil so that the police can enter the building.
Once you arrive at the building, we will be able to track you via your rescue morphers. Find a way in and rescue any hostages you find on the office floors. Meanwhile, my techs at the Aqua Base will be locking onto them and teleporting them to safety. It's my job to make sure you stay one step ahead of Queen Bansheera's monsters.
Power Rangers. Most people will have grown up with some form of the phenomenon. For some, it harks back to 1993 when the show first debuted. For many others, it is the later variations that came, such as the focus of this review, Lightspeed Rescue, based on Season 8 of the TV show, also called Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. A 3D action game. Players can choose one of the 5 main Rangers to play through the game, taking place across multiple levels based on the show's location of Mariner Bay, as well as the Rangers' base of operations and the villain's lair. Queen Bansheera and her minions are waging war on humanity, and it is up to Power Rangers to stop her. Play through the levels, rescuing innocent bystanders, collecting necessary items, and defeating all the enemies and bosses. The latter appear sporadically throughout the levels, but it always culminates in a Megazord battle, all to eventually face off with the ultimate evil. It's very simple stuff, and thanks to the game refusing to let you progress past a certain point without having completed everything in a previous area, easy to navigate, although it is hard to really get lost or anything as levels are very linear.
Super Train Megazord mode, Lightspeed. Mission accomplished.
At best, you might struggle to find a specific thing, purely because of the camera that always seems to be one step behind the Ranger's movements. Talking of which, the controls are pretty horrendous here. Your Ranger can punch, kick, block, jump, and do some form of special attack when the power bar is increased. There's no real skill involved, it's just a matter of mashing the buttons until the enemy's health is depleted. Even blocking only really has any use with certain bosses, often the game's only real challenge. The lack of moves is really disappointing and makes fights really repetitive, made all the worse as the game has just one non-boss enemy type. Dying doesn't come easy, but chances are you'll die the most by dodgy hit detection and having to jump. The latter is a real problem for a game that also has camera issues. Later levels, specifically the final level, is downright torturous for its frustrating jumps. That is, if you ever make it that far. Now, normally we wouldn't point out a specific incident or glitch in a game that has so many. However, there is one in Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue that everyone will experience and see many just give up playing altogether. This glitch will impede your progress unless you know how to get past it, and it involves jumping. So, in level 4 Go Volcanic, there is a point where you need to climb up to some roofs. This involves climbing a broken pylon, jumping up to a small vent, then, in theory, onto the roof. Simple. However, the issue is that once on the vent, you can't jump any higher. It is as though there is a roof above the Ranger. No matter how much you try and how many different angles you come from, it's just not possible. With nowhere else to go and no way to progress, the game's lack of sparkling quality so far will hardly extend to the effort required to work out just how the game wants you to make this jump. To do it, you need to go back to the pylon and jump across from there, a jump that should be impossible. But if you hammer the jump button, the Ranger will make the jump through a combination of floating and landing on some form of invisible block. It's enough to make you never want to hear the Lightspeed Rescue theme ever again. Get used to hearing it though, as the clips from the show are played throughout and always with that theme playing. With ugly graphics, although decent for the PS1, horrible music and sound effects, terrible controls, and a real lack of challenge, this is one to avoid, even if you are the biggest of Power Ranger fans. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?